ya Sura. Hapa tunazungumzia mambo ya mapenzi, ama kipindi chetu tunaita Verce and Voice. Hapa katika runinga yetu ya Sura TV, kwenye kipindi hichi tunaenda kuzungumzia mambo ya mapenzi, yale ambayo wazungu wanaita relationship and peer pressure. So itabadilisha, itakuwa na boronga sarufi na kuchanganya ndimi kidogo, kumaanisha itakuwa nazungumza Kiingereza pamoja na Kiswahili ili watu wote waweze kupata vizuri. Naam. Nina wageni wawili jinsia ya kiume. Leo sijabahatika sana kukuwa na jinsia ya kike, lakini najua habari itafika nyumbani. Maana naamini kwao kila kitu itakuwa shwari na maneno yatatamka vizuri. Pengine nitapatia wageni wangu nafasi ya kujitambulisha. Nitaanza na upande wa kushoto pale. Tuanze na baba mkubwa pale.
Asante sana Babu Sule kwa fursa hii na pia kwa kunileta katika haya mahojiano ya Sura TV. Jina langu kwanza naitwa Alex. Bwana pia mimi ni mwanahabari. Yeah.
Naam, shukrani. Tumesikiza jina lake pale, anaitwa Alex Waita. Upande wangu jinsi nazidi kusonga, upande wangu kwa kulia huku.
Shukrani sana Babu Sule. Kwa majina naitwa Elijah, mwanafunzi chuo kikuu cha Masai. Kidogo tu nimshukuru Babu Sule kwa kunialika katika studio hizi. Shukrani sana.
Naam, wapenzi watazamaji, hatutasita wala kuharibu muda, ila tunaenda kwanza hivyo tu. Katika mapenzi na peer pressure, jinsi ambavyo wazungu wanayoita, kuna mambo mengi ambayo hufanya tuingie katika mapenzi ya mapema. Kwa wageni wangu, nitakuja kwenu, itawaruhusu mzungumze Kiingereza pamoja na Kiswahili. Pamoja mimi hapa naenda kubadilisha. What's your own perspective view of a relationship and peer pressure, mostly in the university level? Let me start by Captain. Unaonaje mambo ya mapenzi na peer pressure? What can you say about it?
Kwanza kitu moja ni kwamba peer pressure wakati imeshika mtu ama imepata mtu, kwa mfano mimi kama mwanafunzi wa chuo, wakati mwingine itanifanya maybe niweze kuingia katika ule uhusiano wa kimapenzi na mtu ambaye si ule nilikuwa natamani sana. Maana kwa mfano mimi naona rafiki yangu hapa Duncan ako na mchumba, na mimi juu ile peer pressure, juu nataka kuwa na mtu kama yeye. Nasikia nimevutika sana na nimetamani sana kukuwa na mtu. So nikienda hivi nipata na mtu hata kama si ule wa hulka yangu, nitapata nimetangamana naye na nikamchukua maisha yangu, ambapo baadaye maana ijanipatia muda wa kusoma huyo mtu na kujua kana kwamba kuna zile hulka mimi natamani kwa, yani partner yangu akuwe nazo. Nikipata basi itabidi tuachane, ama pia mambo itakuwa si mazuri vile katika mahusiano yetu. Naam.
Shukrani sana bwana Waita Alex. Hebu tusikize maoni kutoka kwake Duncan Elijah kuhusu mambo ya mapenzi pamoja na peer pressure. The general knowledge that you have, what can you say generally? What can you say about it?
Okay, thank you. So, let me first start by defining peer pressure.
Exactly.
So, we can say in our layman's language, peer pressure is the influence that a group of friends or peers can exert to an individual. And anything that has an advantage must have a disadvantage, right? So, this influence can differ. It may be positive or negative, right? So, when a group of people come together and decide to do things, to do with academics, you know, that is, they are gearing towards academic excellence, right? So, that is a positive move. But now, we come to peer pressure and relationship. Those things to do with people are having boyfriends, girlfriends while in the university level, of which that one is on top notch in most of our universities. So you find that for me, to enter in a certain group, I must seek approval. I am fearing to be rejected by that group. Are you getting? So you find that fear of rejection is one thing that makes students in most of our universities to enter to some of these peer groups. Another one we can say is normalization. There are some of the behaviors that most of the groups tend to adopt. And I can say, like in my own self, I say, Captain, this behavior is normal. And it being normal, I tend to adopt it in my own self. And by adopting it, I take it as normal, but without the knowledge that this one is not right. It's not positive, it's negative. And anything negative it has tied consequences. So that's my view towards peer pressure and relationship.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Duncan. Now, I've just gotten well your explanation, and it's very right. Mostly, peer pressure has been a thorn to the flesh. A thorn in the flesh to our university learners. What do you think, on your own way of looking at things? What can we do, or what can be done to prevent or reduce the peer pressure thing? Because we are getting that peer pressure is making several students to be or to become people who are not them. What can we do to prevent this, or to reduce this, or to totally suppress it?
I can say personally, because I have a bit of experience. Because right now I'm in third year, and for the 2-3 years I've been in the university, I've seen peer pressure influencing a lot of students. More so, I can say the girl child is mostly affected. But on this, I've come to realize most of the students affected by this, first thing, they fear to be rejected by others. For example, if they see their peers maybe are doing a particular thing, or they are engaging themselves in a particular relationship or anything else, they fear to be rejected by them, or maybe to be rejected out of their company. And at the end of the day, they end up doing what their friends are doing out of peer pressure. So what I think can be done to curb this issue, more so in the campus, I think the administration should introduce counseling sessions, or something to do with counseling, and also maybe like a session of talking to students. Introduce it in the curriculum, whereby they will be enlightened students of being their own, being themselves. For example, allow me to use Swahili to mix the language. I'm a journalist and I like kuchanganya ndimi. Naam, napenda kuchanganya ndimi. Sasa upate kama ni katika curriculum ya masomo, shule ikaweze kuleta ile niseme syllabus ambayo iko na mambo ya kupatia wanafunzi mausia nini kuhusiana na mambo ya vile wataweza kuishi hapa chuoni. Kwa vile wengine unapata wanakosa kujifanya kile kina style, na wanaingia katika hizi vikundi out of peer pressure, because they don't want to accept who they are. For example, if I'm born again and I'm living with friends who are not born again, and I see them, maybe they go for partying, they go and do this, they get drunk, and I myself, because I'm born again, I want to be associated with them, of which the things they are doing, they are not right. So for me, to avoid them, I need some advice either from anybody. Be yourself, do what is right, and something like that. So, but the first thing people should do, or young people like me should do, they should accept who they are. No, you are not the person, or maybe you are a friend too. You cannot have the life your partner is having, or your friend is having. So be yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Waiter. But I've heard you talking about these learners. The administration, the school administration should maybe convert these learners and tell them about this. I think that's the first thing that is being done in the first week by the time you join the campus. And the name, it's being called orientation. That is. And I can recall the first time I joined campus, the first thing to be taught was when the first talk was about peer pressure, and you are told on how to curb this, but we're still finding that we're still running out of the path. What can be the problem? Even after being taught, everything to be done, we're still running out of the path. What can be the problem, Mr. Captain?
According to me, when I joined to campus, orientation was done only for 1 week. That is now when we were given advices from the administration and what have you. It was only done for 1 week. But one thing we have to understand, life is moving. It is moving. Every day, today, life is moving. So what am I trying to say? That these advices or this guidance should be done on either daily basis to students. Because when you do it for 1 week, they will adopt either the measures that you have taught them or the advice. But after some time, they will abandon it or forget it. What other students are doing.
So generally, you're trying to say that the orientation or the talk should be continuous.
Should be continuous.
Not only the first week when the learner joined the institution.
Exactly.
I get you right. Now, let me come to my friend, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
What can we do, or what should be done to curb this, to curb peer pressure?
Okay, in the first place, you know, peer pressure is something. Let's take for the case of me. Peer pressure is something that when you copy what a certain group is doing, is something that you start incorporating those behaviors, let me call them behaviors and whatnot, within your own self. So, in the first place, what can you do as an individual? You have reflected to yourself and seen that, no, these behaviors, what we are doing is not taking me.
Charity begins at home.
It's not getting me anywhere. So you need to, there is something called self-reflection. Self-reflection is where you examine your beliefs. What are you believing in? And let's come to the peer pressure thing. You examine your actions. You see? So when you get to examine your actions, when you get to examine the kind of friends who you are incorporating into your life, you think, and you come to see, there is nowhere I am going with these friends. What they can just help me is going around partying, drinking beer, wine, and such like it. You know, that's the order of the day to those people who have entered into the peer pressure thing with the whole body. You see, so I can say, in the first place, self-reflection is the key for us to start doing away with the peer pressure thing. I can't say to do away, no. To start doing away with the peer pressure thing, we should first do self-reflection within our own self. Second, let me back up on the point of my friend here, Captain. Captain has talked about we have those religious values. So I can say following those norms and values which are incorporated in the holy books is top-notch and is key to leading us to good behaviors. You see, when you try to copy group, there is something called group conformism. We are copying what a certain group is doing. You see, that is one thing which is hindering most of the university students from effective critical thinking. You can't think outside the box. Your thinking is closed within let me call it closed mindedness. Your thinking is within one thing, and that one thing is the peer pressure thing. What Babu, Captain, and the other are doing is what I am doing. No, let's follow the teachings incorporated in the holy books, because at the end of it all, religion is what is going to save us come the end of the world. You see, the Lord himself promised that he is going to look for our places in heaven, and he will come for us. I'm not preaching. I'm just giving you an example so that you can reflect and to read and see how students can do away with the peer pressure thing. It's good to follow what the priests and such like are teaching us each and every day.
Yeah.
And once we do that, I think we can slowly by slowly cut off the peer pressure thing, and it will be over. Another thing, you realize when students are in first year, the only lesson they are taught to do away with this thing, to avoid bad groups, to choose their friends wisely and such like. You find most of the departments, they have one unit which is teaching them on how to do away with the peer pressure thing. And in most of the cases, when your lecturer is not key with the thing, he or she may not touch on the main ideas which are most helpful in the start. Because you see, foundation is the most important thing when building a house. And now you are starting your foundation in your university education. So you need to be encouraged. Lecturers need to encourage students. They need to reach to their understanding that there is this and this and this. When we are studying about HIV, AIDS and lifestyles, most of the students, I can say, they were not attending the classes. Others were not taking them for serious. You come, you enter the class, the lecture hall is very much crowded. You are not even getting the lecturer. You see, and the lecturer may fail to touch on the most key areas and liken them to the students. So I can say the administration should look for alternative ways of reaching this to the students, and this can be achieved through let me call it they can incorporate some units, those helpful and enlightening units within different faculties, and say we are going to have this unit to educate us about lifestyle, peer groups and such like culture. You see, it's through some of our cultures when we get to some bad behaviors due to poor thinking.
Okay. Mr. Duncan, you're a student, right?
Right.
Do you always attend classes, like all classes? Do you attend all classes?
Okay.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
To be brief, no.
No, we don't attend all classes,
Yeah.
right? I mean, all units, the classes, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard you talking about the administration incorporating or coming up with other units that will be talking about how to curb this peer pressure thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, the same way you are not attending all classes, I believe that there are 60%, just to be approximate, 60% students who are not attending classes the same way you're not attending all classes. Now, how are we going to help these 60% learners who are not attending the classes when we incorporate or come up with a unit that is talking about the curbing of peer pressure? How are we going to help these learners?
I've said, I've answered your question shortly to say I do not attend most of the classes. Not all the classes I attend.
Most.
Yeah, but to be categorical in this case, I'm usually upright-mindedness, and I do see this unit has got some important message to reach to my own understanding, and they say this one is just doing away with journalistic things and such on. But you see, there are some units which are enlightening us about how we should live. Like last semester, we had a unit to do with critical thinking. I've never missed a class to do with critical thinking. So that means that I knew what I needed. But we had other units like media laws. That is something you can go to the internet and get enlightened about what they are talking. So we have talked about these 60% who are not attending classes.
Right.
As you have said, as me, you see. Okay, attending university classes and lectures is all about your decision.
Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
You are talking about, initially before we go for a break,
Yeah.
I heard you talking about something to do with self-realization.
Yeah.
Just take you back.
Okay.
You are talking about self-realization. Or you called it
self-reflection.
Self-reflection, which by my own term, I'll call it self-realization.
Depending on your...
English teacher. Now, we are getting that. I think most of us, not all of us, can be in a position to realize themselves. I think that's the reason why we are getting that. Others are copying what others are doing, even if it is wrong, meaning that they can't realize themselves. Are you getting that?
Yeah.
Now, how can we help these people who cannot realize themselves? Instead, they'll just try to fit in other shoes that they cannot fit. How can we help these people?
Yeah, okay, helping these people is where the idea of seeking support comes in.
Yeah.
We have got your mentors, trusted individuals across the university. You can also, we have other leaders who have got a straight stand. You can make a reach to one of them and seek some help and ask, you explain your issue and say, I've got this issue and this issue and this issue. I fell in this group, and then I'm finding it hard to come out of the behaviors that we used to do in this group. So seeking help is most helpful. You go and seek help and ask them, what can I do to this and this and this? And I think that is the most crucial thing that we can do to them. Yeah.
For example, you are a parent, right? Your child, your girl child, your boy child, your firstborn, your secondborn, your thirdborn is in a university. He or she is in school. How can you help this learner as a parent not to involve in the this diabolic thing called peer pressure? Because I term it diabolic because it is not right. It is totally wrong. It is affecting negatively our students or the learners. As a parent, how can you help the students, or if your child is there?
Okay, let me come to you.
Let me give Alex opportunity.
Okay. You've said if I'm a parent and I have a student in the university.
Yeah, your child is there.
Yeah.
One thing is my friend quoted a few minutes back that charity begins at home. So one thing, before my child, he or she comes to the university, I would have instilled the good morals and values in her while she is young. I could brought her in the best way possible, so that even when she goes to the university or he goes, I will be able to, the way he has said, self-reflect about what is good, what is bad, and also by that he or she will be able to abstain from what is not right. But when the child now is in the university, I would be offering guidance to her or him, and also visiting him or her regularly and see how my child is going on, is progressing on academic-wise, socially, in all spheres of life, and try to see, is there anything amiss or is there anything strange either in his life or her life. So by doing that, I'll be helping her a lot. So that is, I've said, visiting her regularly and also doing a follow-up to know how my child is living in the university. I think by doing that, I'll be able to help him or her to live well in the university. And also, I can be either offering mentors or maybe mentors to mentor my child, either when it comes to matters of spiritual matters, social matters, in all spheres of life. I will try my level best and have a mentor to help my child. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Waita. Mr. Duncan,
No.
what's your view?
Okay, my view to this, my friend has said, you make sure you are regularly in touch with your student, with your child. Yeah. So, another thing, and that's my plan. If I get lucky to have one of my son or daughter attending the university won't be far from where I am residing. I will be residing by that moment. If it's to sleep, you will get to sleep at my own house. You see, we have most of we have a lot of residential houses across near Nairobi. So if I will be working in Nairobi and I have an house there, my child, my son or daughter won't reside in the university hostels. He or she will get to reside from my home. Will be coming from there, attend lectures from there, and then that does not mean he or she won't get into peer groups. You know, during daytime, you won't know what he or she will be doing at school. But according to do away with peer groups in my own family, I'll make sure each and every time I've got some counseling sessions. Yeah. And through counseling and regular repeating some key ideas about peer pressure, how you should maneuver through the university, how you can get that degree without a lot of compromises across the university, I'll make sure I pay a lot of attention to my child. And I am also praying to the Lord that their mother will also be
just like you.
Will also be like me, to have the same spirit, so that at least we bring up intellectual individuals for the society. Yeah.
Mr. Duncan, my last question to you.
Okay.
You have said that God willing, if you'll be having one, a daughter or a son, joining a campus, then the daughter or the son must just go to school. I mean, the school that is near your place, that is. Okay. Can you allow your daughter to have a boyfriend?
Okay, it's just a tricky
question. The daughter
question.
is in campus.
Okay.
Can you allow her to have a boyfriend? Will it be a big deal?
Having a boyfriend, you see, this boyfriend thing has got some words.
Yes or no? I need a yes or no answer. Will you?
What if I sound abstained to be neutral in this case?
Abstaining meaning that
Abstain.
you are making this child not to have a boyfriend, and you're making this daughter of yours not to have a boyfriend.
I'm 50-50 because it's tricky to decide.
Okay, yes or no? It's very simple. I've got choices for you. Yes or no? Will you allow the daughter to have boyfriend? Yes or no?
Let me go as per your best answer.
Not my best decision. Just use yours.
Okay, let me say yes, and then I explain why am I saying yes.
You will allow the daughter to have a boyfriend. That's right. That's
Yes.
right. Mr. Waiter.
Okay, from what Duncan has said, the question is very
Will
tricky.
you allow yes or no?
Okay, before I answer you yes or no, one thing as a parent as a parent, you should not be having 50-50 mad things to do with your children.
That's right.
You should either when you say no, it is no, or yes, it is yes.
Exactly.
But on my case, to be honest,
I
can say yes. Yes.
You'll use yes.
Yeah, but I can tell you
Don't
this.
use but. By the time you include but, you ruin everything.
No, I'm not ruining. I'm not
By
ruining.
using
But means you are declining.
That means everything you have changed everything to be negative. So your answer is no by using the term but.
Okay,
Right?
it's yes.
Yes. You allow your daughter to have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right. Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
Your last word or advice. Advice to the learners, the university, your fellow university students who are being affected by the peer pressure. What can you tell them? Maybe in 30 seconds.
Okay, in short, to sum up what I have said throughout this discussion, you, a student in the university, make sure that the decisions that you are going to make are independent. Let your decision not to be influenced by anyone, and through making right and positive ethical decisions, you will not fall into those traps which can ruin your life while at the university. I can know so much.
Mr. Captain.
Yes. What I can say to whoever is watching this, either you are a youth or a parent, You have to understand that life has no rehearsal. And when you make a mistake in life, there is no chance of rectifying it again. Even if you rectify, there will be a consequence of that. And I have a message to the parents in 10 seconds. Please, parents, wherever you are watching this, can you learn to educate your children openly? Tell them openly about life. Don't hide them. Just be open to them. Tell them the sincerity of life, the truth of life. And God willing, keep praying for them, because God first and all shall follow. Thank you, Mr. Jack.
Shukran tena mpenzi mtazamaji. Mimi mwenyewe sijatoka bure, bali nimetoka na kitu. Kwa mambo yote haya ambayo wamezungumzia, wamesema, ama nikisema neno la mwisho kutokana na vitu ambavyo wamesema wenyewe, maisha ni kama penalty. Mwamuzi ama yule referee akupa nafasi ya kucheza, kisha uharibu, hata kupata nafasi ya pili uirudie tena. Shukrani. Tuonane siku nyingine, kuna awamu nyingine, Mungu akitujalia inshallah.